Welcome back to another episode. Today we're tackling a hot button issue that's been around for decades, term limits for politicians. Joining me to hash it out is the ever enthusiastic Hannah Thompson.
Hello, Sebastian. I'm fired up about this one. Let's break down the arguments for and against term limits. I'm taking the pro side, championing fresh faces and new ideas.
Sounds like a lively debate. So Hannah, why do you think term limits are a good thing?
First, term limits prevent politicians from becoming career politicians. They get stuck in their ways, beholden to special interests, and out of touch with the needs of the people they represent.
Hold on there, Sparkplug. While I appreciate the sentiment, let's not get carried away. Experience and institutional knowledge are valuable assets in our leaders.
But, Sebastian, how can we expect real change with the same folks in office for decades? They get comfortable, out of touch, and beholden to special interests. Term limits would force fresh faces and new ideas into the political arena.
So true, new perspectives are important, but governance is complex, Hannah. It takes time to learn the ropes, build relationships, and understand the intricacies of policy. Throwing out seasoned politicians could create a chaotic learning curve.
Experience is valuable, but it can also lead to complacency. Politicians get comfortable, entrenched in their ways, and resistant to change. Term limits would break this cycle.
That's a fair point. But wouldn't term limits also limit the ability of highly skilled politicians to get things done? Building relationships and trust takes time, you know?
Nonsense. Term limits wouldn't eliminate experienced people from politics altogether. Former officials could still serve as advisors, lobbyists, or even run for higher office after a cooling off period.
Lobbyists, isn't that part of the problem you're trying to solve, Hannah? Wouldn't term limits create a revolving door of politicians who then cash in as lobbyists, using their insider knowledge to manipulate the system?
That's a good point. Maybe limitations on lobbying activities for former politicians could be part of the package.
Now you're thinking, but consider this, Hannah. Long-term representatives build relationships with foreign leaders and navigate international crises. Wouldn't term limits disrupt this continuity on the world stage?
Term limits wouldn't have to mean a complete overhaul. There could be exceptions for critical leadership positions in foreign affairs or national security.
Now we're getting somewhere, Hannah. Compromise is key in a healthy debate. Now, what about the potential downsides of term limits?
Well, for one, it could weaken the power of the legislative branch. Lobbyists and special interests might have more sway over inexperienced lawmakers.
A valid concern. And what about the loss of institutional knowledge? Wouldn't that hinder a smooth-running government?
Institutional knowledge can be preserved through robust staff transitions and mentorship programs. We can't let the fear of losing knowledge become a crutch for stagnation.
You make a strong case, Hannah. Perhaps a balance could be struck, maybe term limits for some offices, but not for others, depending on the specific needs.
Now, that's an interesting thought, Sebastian. Maybe a hybrid system could be the answer.
So people, what do you think? Term limits, friend or foe? The answer to political stagnation or a recipe for governmental whiplash? Let us know in the comments. That's about all we have today, y'all. Thanks for joining us for this installment. Until next time, keep it random, keep it real. And most importantly, keep it civil.
And keep it ranting. Debating responsibly. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more discussions.
I'm so glad you didn't delve deeper into the whole corruption thing we're seeing now.
I know that's a powder keg just waiting to go off at this point. I'm trying to hide the matches.